This is the MC Reggie Fresh Morning Show. A station that pays. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Steelers. This is the MC Reggie Fresh Morning Show. A station that pays.
Here the Steelers, black and the gold.
Here we go.
It's kind of Pittsburgh's heart and soul.
Here we go.
The Steeler Nation has the best fans. We are from Pittsburgh, the 6-time Super Bowl champ.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Steelers. Here we go. Pittsburgh's gone to the Super Bowl. Here we go.
Coach Tomlin.
This is MC Reggie Fresh from the MC Reggie Fresh Morning Show. And folks, guess who's in the building? He was born and raised in Waco, Texas. He graduated from Waco University High School. He went to the University of Baylor. And he also served as the executive director of Baylor Bee Association, the school's 700-member organization of former letter winners. And he was selected in the first round, 12th overall of the 1982 NFL Draft by the 6-time world champs, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome running back number 34, Walter Abercrombie. Welcome, Brother Walter, to the MC Reggie Fresh Morning Show. How you doing?
Hey, man, I'm doing great, man. I appreciate the opportunity to be on your podcast.
It's not a problem. So, the first question I'm going to ask you is, was you a Steelers fan growing up?
You know what, man? I grew up in Waco, Texas, and to be quite honest with you, man, my mom was a huge football fan, but she was a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
Okay.
My mom was a Cowboys fan, and so I watched all the Cowboys, and I fell in love with Bob Hayes and Roger Staubach, Calvin Hill, all those great players that they had on the team back in the 70s. And so when the Steelers began facing the Cowboys in the Super Bowls, that's when all of a sudden I realized, man, the Steelers are a better team because they would beat the Cowboys. So I had this little love inside my heart for the Steelers, but I couldn't tell my mom.
Okay.
So anyway, when I got drafted by the Steelers, my mom was like the most disappointed woman in the world, and she said, "Well, is there any way you can call the Rooney family and the coach and tell them that you want to play for the Cowboys?" I said, "Mom, they don't work that way." But Reggie, she came along, and after my rookie season, she became one of the biggest Steelers fans in the whole world, and she was all Steelers, man. She dropped them Cowboys like they were hotcakes.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. You know, Dwayne Woodger said he's from Texas, and his father was a Dallas fan. So he said, you know, I got to roll with my dad. But he said, when I got drafted to the Steelers, he said, I saw the light.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, now let me ask you this. What was the transition that you had to make, man, to from college level to the pro level?
I think the first thing that I realized when I first got to Pittsburgh is how much talented everybody on the team was. And in college, let's back up a little bit. Go from high school to college. You might have a few guys in high school that are decent, but maybe one, two. In college, you might have 5 or 6 guys on the team that could possibly play at the next level. But at the pros, man, I mean, when I got to the Steelers and I saw how talented everybody was, I mean, everybody from the guard tackles to the wide receivers, everybody was special. They had a special, unique physical ability that made them eligible to be at that level. That's the first thing I noticed when I got there, is how good everybody was, how fast those linebackers were. And so, yeah, it was no joke, man. It makes you automatically step up your game.
Oh, wow, that's what I'm talking about. That's great, man. Now, let me ask you this. Who was one of your favorite players of all times as a Pittsburgh Steeler?
Oh, man, that's a tough one right there, because
I know it's a lot of them.
I was you talking about a Steeler player or any player?
Any player that's over all-time Pittsburgh.
All-time Pittsburgh probably was, I would say, Lynn Swann. And I was fortunate enough because he made a bunch of acrobatic catches back in the day.
Right.
And, he was a good-looking guy, smooth, And so when I got there and I met him, it was like meeting a legend. Hell, when I got there, Reggie, all of those guys were legends. And so, but Lynn and I became fast friends. And of course, when I got to know Franco, my backfield mate, it was, I learned to love him and appreciate him for his ability. He was a big running back. And so that was really just for a kid growing up in Texas to be able to play with those guys who used to be up on my Cowboys, that was really like a dream come true.
That's wonderful, man. That's wonderful. All right, now, under Coach Chuck Noah, how was he as a coach and you being under him as a player?
Well, Chuck was, everybody knew that Chuck was a great coach. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He was a man who was he didn't get close to his players. I'm sure you've heard that.
Right.
He was a guy who was not aloof. He just didn't believe in getting close to players. And, it was always a little difficult for him because, to get close to kids and then all of a sudden you got to cut them or let them go. He just chose to keep his distance. But what I respected about him is he taught football. He taught the game of football, which many guys don't really know. You play because you got a lot of athletic ability. But once I got to the league and I started learning the game of football, and I credit that to Chuck, I really became a better player. Right.
Okay, now, when you're in that backfield and you thinking you're going to get the ball, when you know you're going to get the ball when they call your play, when you running that ball, what is in your mind? What are you thinking about? Because I know, man, it's very physical and you're going to get hit hard. How does that feel and what are you thinking at that time?
Well, I mean, if most players are going to get it, once you get on that football field, you turn into a different kind of person. I mean, it's about winning the battle. And so I get in a real competitive frame of mind, and I believe that once I got them, I wanted the ball because I believed I could make a difference in a play, in a series, and in a game. And so in every situation, great players, sometimes I've heard that before, that great players want the ball. And it wasn't like I was just, in a selfish sense.
Right.
I truly believe that whatever battle I got into with a linebacker or defensive back, that I could win that battle. So therefore, I wanted the ball.
Man, and then the hits, the contact.
Yeah, the contact, man, you're going to get that. And if you played 4 years of college or whatever in high school, you're used to the contact. The thing is, the reason why I said a while ago that everybody has to step up your game, you try to find ways that as a player you become less interested in making that contact. So what you do is you try to find the edge on your opponent, and you can beat him not always through a physical confrontation, but sometimes you just maybe study a little bit better. You learn his tendencies, and you can lean him one way and get him going one direction, and then you cut back the other direction. And in that way, you beat him through a finesse move. But that comes when you've been able to study the game and study that player. So it's not always about physical. But when it does get physical, you got to make sure you've been in that weight room and you got your body ready to take on whatever it takes to win that battle.
Right. Okay. Now, what we're going to do now, Brother Walter, we're going to have a trivia question. Now, look, I made a song about the Pittsburgh Steelers called Pittsburgh Style for Super Bowl 40. I'm going to make sure you get it through inbox, or I can mail it to you. And if you get it right, that's what I'm going to send you. It's a trivia question dealing with the Steelers.
All right.
All right. So here we go. Could you tell me the player that was drafted in 1982 by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he came from the University of Baylor? He was a running back, and his number was number 34. Could you tell me who that guy was?
That was Sir Walter Abercrombie. As Myron Cokie nicknamed me when I got there, man.
All right, you got it right, brother. All right, man, you got any shout-outs you want to give to anybody?
Hey, man, I just want to, I haven't been to Pittsburgh in a long time, and I just really fell in love with that city. The city accepted me and embraced me, and we had some great years there. Just want to say hello to all the Steelers Nation and all the fans that are still around, that remember me back in the day. And I haven't seen you in a long time. I miss the city. I miss being around the vibe, of the Steeler vibe. And let me tell you something, that Steeler vibe, it's real, because when they come down here and play the Cowboys, man, it's on. I mean, it's a lot of black and gold in the stadium. So hello to all the Steeler fans. I miss you guys, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, Reggie.
You're welcome, man. And I appreciate you on the show as well. Now, the last question I got to ask you, Brother Walter, could you please tell me, can you tell me what's the best station, the best station in the land that pays?
The MC Reggie Fresh Morning Show.
And there y'all have it, folks. Coming to you way down Texas in Waco. Number 34, running back Walter Abercrombie on the MC Reggie Fresh Morning Show.
This is the MC Reggie Fresh Morning Show. A station that pays.